Good morning. Welcome to the Piedmont Unitarian Universalist Church. Piedmont UU sits on the traditional land of the Catawba, Kiowa, and Sugaree peoples. My name is Rihanna Nestwick, and I will be the worship assistant for Reverend Dr. Amy Rio this morning. We are a flourishing, vibrant, and radically welcoming congregation which promotes diversity, inclusion, and social justice. We provide a safe haven for creative intellectual growth, spiritual development, and a deep sense of community for all who join us. We hope our liberal religious values will challenge you to join us as a community that lives boldly and acts justly. To all our visitors and our members, we're very glad you're here, in person or with us online, and we hope to see you again. Your presence is a gift to us. Our announcements this Sunday. The church book read for the book Active Hope continues tomorrow evening at 6:30 p.m. via Zoom. Please check your weekly email for more details and contact Reverend Amy with any questions. Please remember that you can join any of the sessions that you are available to attend. The Salisbury Women's Group will meet this Saturday, January 24th at 10 a.m. at our Salisbury gathering. Please bring some stories to share about the women who inspire you. Snacks are provided, but please bring your own beverage. Contact Tara or Lisa with questions at womensgroupsg.org. Sounds a little, but I'm sure that information's in the email. We want to note that this year our church has run an ad in this year's issue of Pride Magazine. We actually have a copy of the Pride Magazine at the back near the coffee. You are welcome to go look at it while you're enjoying coffee after service, and you may also take one with you when you go. Feel free to distribute it to anyone that you think would benefit from having it. For other important information about our vibrant community, please see your order of service, or if you are on our email list, please check our monthly newsletter and our weekly announcements. Whatever brought you to this place at this hour, we welcome you. May you find something that you need, and may you leave richer in spirit than when you arrived.
Hear now these words from Paul Sprecher. We light this chalice in memory of courage of those who have struggled for freedom, the persistence of those who've struggled for justice, and the love of those who've built beloved communities to carry on the light of hope. Please join me now in singing the words to the lighting of our chalice, the symbol of our faith. Thank you, Anne. So, I invite you to please rise and body your spirit for our call to worship, which is found in your bulletin. Spirit of connections and love, bless the many ways we resist. Those who march and organize, those who cook, donate, and write, those who tend to the weary, who pray or hold vigil, those who say, rest now, I'll take this shift. Let this wide circle honor every being, visible or unseen. May we release the myths that define resistance in certain ways and remember instead the truth of shared power. May this be our prayer to sustain one another's courage until quiet faith and public fire become one movement of love. Our opening hymn is found in our gray hymnal, number 119, Once to Every Soul and Nation. Please be seated. And I invite any of our young ones to come forward for our Time for All Ages with Miss Jennifer.
Good morning. Can you guys hear me? I'm on a different mic. We're good? Yeah. All right. Good morning, everybody. I'm so glad you could join me here on the carpet today. Is that Rose? Nice. She's Rose. So we have Rose and Rose. Today we have a story. We dream a world carrying the light from my grandparents, Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King, by Yolanda Renee King, illustrated by Nicole Tagel. Do you want to hold it? You want to see? Granddaddy and Grandma, you had a dream we would be judged by what's in our hearts, not by the color of our skin. You were gone before I came into this world, but that dream and so many others lives deep inside me. Everything you believed in shines like the brightest sunshine on a golden horizon.
Wow, rainbow.
It's a rainbow. Many ask me, do you plan to follow in Dr. King and Coretta Scott King's footsteps? How will you ever fill their shoes? Do you have what it takes to walk their path? I hold fast to all you stood for: peace, togetherness, harmony, and love. Granddaddy and Grandma, thanks to your wisdom and determination, I now have my own footsteps, my own journey, my own dream for the world. And so while I follow your example, I am also ready to lead. I am ready to walk the uncertain road from today to tomorrow. I am ready to keep my eyes on the prize you set out before us with the power of your vision. See, look at her. She's walking her own road now. Yes, Grandma Coretta, yes, Granddaddy Martin, I am ready. Every day I thank you for the gifts you gave so many of us through your hard work. Because of you, I know the struggle and triumph are bigger than just me. The promise of a new day starts with me. And it starts with you, and you, and you, and me too. You helped us see the dream. And now we're here to be the dream. The wisdom of your words weaves a rainbow that lights our way. Granddaddy, you told us love is the key. Grandma, you taught us where the heart is right, the mind and body will follow. These words, these keys to our hearts, open the door that all is possible. Look at him being so free. We dream a world where school is a safe place and free of fear. No violence spoken here. We dream a world where guns are not games. Shoot for the stars and not at each other. Give me a high five.
Sometimes we just feel things so strongly they make us well cry. That's a good thing. That's a real gift.
We dream a world where poverty is a memory, liberty, justice, and food for all. We dream a world where the only walks are those that hold safe spaces and have windows and mirrors that reflect our unity. Beauty has no boundaries. We dream a world where trees, flowers, and the earth creatures thrive in the right seasons. Spring, summer, winter, fall, honesty is the warmest climate. We dream a world where bullies turn their backs on being mean. Let kindness begin with me. We dream a world where sickness can be driven out by the healing power of hope. Love is the cure. We dream a world where every child can go to college. Education fuels our nation. Reading is believing. Grandma and Grandpa and Grandma and Granddaddy, so many want to know, how will you honor the legacy of your grandparents? The answer is simple. We keep your dream alive by planting our dreams, like trees in an orchard, to be nurtured by tomorrow's gardeners, with determined feet blazing a new hope. We are ready to take the torch you lit before we were born. We are ready to grip the glistening baton, to hold faith by the hand, to pass it on. We are ready to reach, to rise, to sparkle like stars in a bold blue sky. Our time has come to be the twinkle, letting everyone know, spread the word, have you heard? All across the nation, we are going to be a great generation. Sorry, I've read this book like 3 times and I cry every time. So what do y'all think?
I like it.
You liked it?
Hi.
So why do you like it?
I like it because it was beautiful and it tells you that you're perfect and you don't have to be
That's right. And how to be kind to each other. The story here is we rise in love and loving each other. Do y'all want to come back and join us where we kind of talk about this a little bit more? Yeah. Can I see? Birthday girl. Do we have a birthday? Oh.
Yeah, Jennifer and I were talking before the service. She said, I might cry when I do. I said, it's okay. Tears are a gift. And, during this month when we're focusing on practicing resistance, the reason we're doing this is because we dream of a better world. And when we have those dreams, of course, they're going to bring tears to our eyes at times. So, well, a wonderful gift for all of us. Now, at this point in time, we were entering into our time for ritual and sacred sharing, a time for sharing joys and sorrows, concerns and milestones. We first light a candle in honor of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and the dream that he dreamed for our world. We light a candle for Sandra W., who moved to assisted living this past week. I saw her a couple days ago. She really likes her new place and is doing well and is very thankful for all the support from the church. Also, light a candle. We held Ed Hanson Kelly's Celebration of Life service at our Salisbury gathering yesterday, and Eileen and her family so appreciate all the support the church has offered. Light a candle in Thanksgiving for the Buddhist monks who walked through our area in recent days with the Walk for Peace. For all who've been harmed and impacted by ICE raids and activity, and especially for the people of Minneapolis and surrounding area for their safety during these dangerous times. For all areas of violence around the world, including the ongoing war in Ukraine and the unrest in Iran. For peace, and that our more reasonable heads will prevail in our country and prevent us from going to war. And for our country, that we might continue to do all that we can to work towards creating a society filled with love and compassion, civil rights, and justice for all peoples. Now, at this time, you are invited to come forward as you feel called to do so. I invite you to come forward along the far wall, and you may fill out a prayer card to place on the prayer stand. You may light your own candle for joy or concern, or you may place a stone in our shared water together. We now light a few more candles for the things we hold in our hearts, which remain unspoken, and also for those who are joining us from elsewhere, from either joining us in spirits or joining us virtually, as we honor what is in their hearts as well. At this time, I invite us into a period for quiet rest, meditation, or prayer. I will sound the singing bowl, and then we will have a time of silence. And during that time of silence, I invite you to just feel your breath more deeply, to settle into your seat. And as you slowly breathe in and out, invite into your heart what it is that you need this morning. After a period of silent meditation, then we will all join together in our musical meditation.
Today, I will be reading selected quotes from Bell Hooks. One of the most vital ways we sustain ourselves is by building communities of resistance, places where we know we are not alone. Dominator culture has tried to keep us all afraid, to make us choose safety instead of risk, sameness instead of diversity. Moving through that fear, finding out what connects us, reveling in our differences. This is the process that brings us closer, that gives us a world of shared values, of meaningful community. If we want a beloved community, we must stand for justice.
Now, as we continue with our theme of practicing resistance during this month, I believe that most of us realize that we live in a society where rampant individualism is held up as one of our values, which seems to go counter to the theme of community, of resistance today. You know, we can think of countless times we've heard phrases like, every man for himself. And I use the language of man intentionally here, or pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and cowboy theology, as I like to refer to that, or take responsibility for your own health. Those kind of things are so common. Focusing on the individual as the highest good, the highest form. Our society continues to tell us in so many ways, big and small, that we are isolated islands of beings. We're given full credit when things go well for us, and then blamed if things don't seem to go so well. Now, if someone is fortunate enough to do well financially, our society wants to give them sole credit without any regard for the countless people who helped them along the way, or perhaps for generational wealth and privilege, which enabled someone to start ahead of the game. If someone struggles with difficult health, our society tells them, well, just make better choices, without any acknowledgement that 60% of one's health is determined by their zip code, and how the cost of health care greatly impacts people who are not as fortunate financially as others. No person is an island. No person is an island. Now, on this weekend especially, when we remember the prophetic life work of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and the Civil Rights Movement, we cannot forget that Reverend Dr. King continually emphasized the importance of community in bringing about social change and transformation. Community was one of the key themes of his ministry and his work. A community of resistance is necessary for needed change to occur. Now, our wisdom readings this morning are selected words from Bell Hooks. I hope that many of you are familiar with Hooks's work. An author, poet, theorist, educator, and social critic. She spent so much of her work focusing on how the intersections of race, capitalism, and gender produce and support systems of oppression. Now, hear that again. How the intersections of race, capitalism, and gender produce and support systems of oppression. Race, capitalism, and gender. We think about what's going on in our world in recent weeks and months. Hooks' prophetic words certainly ring true. Here again, this one statement from her. If we want a beloved community, we must stand for justice. Beloved community does not happen without justice. Now, as we continue to focus on practicing resistance during this month. Community is an essential, integral part of this work. It is not done in isolation. Now, while all of us might, and I believe do, practice individual acts of resistance, the power of community cannot be overstated. Think about a protest. One lone protester, that's important. That certainly has some kind of impact. But then think about when hundreds and thousands of protesters come together. It's so much harder to ignore what is taking place, the image and the community that is gathered there. It's like having one candle in a dark night. One candle certainly makes a difference, but a room full of lit candles illuminates a space beyond what we could ever imagine. Now, while there are numerous ways that we can build a community of resistance, I'd like this morning just to offer 3 brief phrases to keep in mind while we continue to undertake this work. Firstly, see them as us. Secondly, stay active. Thirdly, celebrate good news. Now, this doesn't encompass everything about creating a beloved community of resistance. It's just 3 ways that we might can focus on this morning. So first, we see them as us. Now, that might seem obvious. I think probably all of us know how damaging a statement like those people can be in our world. If we are to have and to build a community of resistance, we need to operate with an us language that is inclusive and not divisive. Language is so powerful. It makes so many statements, obviously, but it is something that is so much more powerful than what we often give credit for. The language that we use as we talk about community says so much. Othering people in ways big or small automatically sets up a division. Now, I know, there are times when it's not easy to do this, to see us instead of them, especially when we see people do or say horrific things. Now, one thing in the past 8 years that so many people have talked about is having close friends or family who have some very different viewpoints that we do, especially when it comes to political and justice issues. How are we still in community? And the core essential way to do this is to acknowledge and look for the humanity in others. Now, even when we're not certain how to do that or how that's possible, to look for that divine light that is within every single person. Now, looking for that divine light in another without excusing words or actions. It doesn't mean there's no consequences for words or action. Looking for that divine light, that says so much more about who we are and who we hope to be than it does the other person. Now, there are always going to be times when we will never find a path of connection with another person. Sometimes the barrier is just too great. But that doesn't mean that we don't attempt to do so. So first, we see them as us. Secondly, we stay active. Now, one of the things I love about our congregation is the social justice work that we do, both communally and individually. I've heard so many of you share in recent months about despair, anger, hopelessness, and how when you joined with others in taking action, it transformed what you were feeling. So many of you have told me about just going to a protest and being with others, even people you didn't know, how that gave you some hope that you weren't feeling before. Or making phone calls, supporting people in so many different ways, like going to get groceries for people who, out of fear of ICE, feel like they can't leave their homes. So many different things I've heard from you that you have been doing. Taking action gives you hope in what we are about, the work we are about. Now, being active also includes, as we're active in resistance, things like writing on a prayer card, lighting a candle, placing a stone in our shared water, and so many other rituals that we undertake. Those are forms of action. It is when we sit home by ourselves in despair or fear and take no action. That's when we lose hope and disconnect from a community of resistance. So we see others as us, we stay active, and lastly, we celebrate good news. Now, we all know there's far more than enough bad news to go around, and we are called to celebrate good news when it comes our way. Like Avelo Airlines discontinuing their contract with ICE, where they were flying people out of this country. Something that I know individuals in our church worked very hard for. Yes, we should clap. That's something to celebrate. We can't think, well, that's just one little thing. No, every little thing adds up. Just like every little stone that we place in the water adds up until it's an overwhelming amount of stones. We celebrate so many of the positive things, big or small, as we are in a community of resistance. Now, news ratings, we all know, ratings thrive on bad news. The news, however we might obtain it, they're not going to highlight the positive things as much because that's not where the money is. It will take more effort in our world to find the good news and then to celebrate it. But it's important for us to do just that. There are so many wonderful things happening in our world, so many people working as a community of resistance and showing love to others. Now, last week, as we talked about joy as resistance, celebration goes hand in hand with joy. I think one of the wonderful things that we can celebrate that helps create community is just in recent days, the Buddhist monks who were on their walk of peace came through our area. And I've talked with so many of you who were there standing along as they made their journey. And what a powerful spiritual experience that was for you. Now, yesterday, as I talked to some of our members who gathered along the streets in Salisbury, and as they were waiting for the monks to come and they could see them in the distance, they were talking with other people there standing beside them, building community. Some people who had driven from far away, people they would never see again, most likely, did not know. They were building a community of hope, a community of resistance, a community of love. There's nothing in this world that can overtake that kind of power when that is what we are about. There is nothing more powerful than a true, beloved community of resistance, hope, and love. Now, I'd like to leave you with these words from Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., just a few of the many words that he offered throughout his ministry about beloved community and resistance. Love is creative and redemptive. Love builds up and unites. Hate tears down and destroys. The aftermath of the fight with fire method is bitterness and chaos. And the aftermath of the love method is reconciliation and creation of the beloved community. Yes, love, which means understanding, creative, redemptive goodwill, even for one's enemies. Love is the solution. Today, and every day, we keep love at the center. As we include others and think of the power of we and not them, as we stay active in justice work, and as we celebrate good news. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So today the choir will be singing Glow, excuse me, by Eric Whitacre. Eric Whitacre is a Grammy-winning composer, a popular choral composer, musician, and conductor. And his song that we'll be singing today describes a snowy scene. Actually, what was predicted for Charlotte today. I live most of my life in snowy climates. I've experienced snow that involves blizzards, dangerous whiteouts, icy roads, and heart attack endangering snow shoveling. I've also experienced the beauty of snow, of sun glistening on fresh snow or flurries falling while reflecting shaded sunlight. Whitaker's song portrays this peace, softness, beauty of snow, and especially the beautiful interplay of light and snow. Listen for the opening lines as the choir begins to sing, please. The sopranos and altos will be singing, "Softly falls the winter snow, whispers to the sleeping world below. Morning breaks and set the earth aglow." The choir increases in volume then in the middle of the piece, describing the beauty of the scene, but then returns to softly repeating the theme of the piece, glow. As you listen to this song, may you feel peace. May you feel the beauty of nature, experience the glow within you, and, following the example of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, illuminate the world around you.
Thank you so much to the choir. That was beautiful. Let there be an offering to sustain and strengthen this place, which is sacred to so many of us, a community of memory and of hope, for we are now keepers of the dream. This month, we are sharing our offering plate with Common Cause NC. Common Cause North Carolina is a nonpartisan grassroots organization dedicating to upholding the core values of American democracy. We work to create open, honest, and accountable government that serves the public interest, promote equal rights, opportunity, and representation for all, and empower all people to make their voices heard in the political process. Our hosts will pass around the baskets, and we ask that you pass the baskets down your row when you receive them. You may place your gifts in the baskets as they make their way around the room. And you are always welcome to give online at puuc.org or by texting PUUC to the number 73256. Today's offering will now gratefully be received.
As always, we give thanks for the gifts contained within these baskets and for all the many gifts that you offer this beloved community. I invite you now to please rise and body your spirit for our closing hymn found in our great hymnal, number 149, Lift Every Voice and Sing. to sing that song at least once every MLK weekend, don't we? I love it. So, before we extinguish our chalice, I offer thanks for all the many volunteers who help make our service possible on Sunday. And I also ask if you are able to take the hymnals and place them on the cart near the piano after the service. That is always a big help. So let us take a moment to pause as we do each Sunday to give thanks, either in our hearts or with words for others to hear, for the things for which we are grateful today.
I'm grateful for visitors.
Grateful for visitors, always, yes.
I'm grateful for antibiotics.
For antibiotics, yes. There's a lot of us grateful for antibiotics, medicinal teas, and cough drops, cough syrup. Yeah, I know it's making the rounds, isn't it? So,
Chance to visit with old friends.
chance to visit with old friends. Beloved community. Yes.
A chance to celebrate the many women yesterday that had gone before us.
Yes. Celebrate the many women who gone before yesterday with our women's group meeting. Yes. So.
I'm grateful that song with all the F sharps is done.
Okay, for our virtual, participants, one of our choir members is grateful that the song with all the F sharps is done. So, yeah. Yes, and we are grateful for Ann and the choir so much for your music leadership. Yes.
Our Buddhist monks have brought us peace.
Yes, the Buddhist monks who brought us peace, and also I kept thinking about when I wasn't here when this sanctuary space was dedicated. It was a group of Buddhist monks who came in and dedicated the space. Got a picture in the meeting house. Happy to share with you anytime.
I'm grateful that there were thousands of people there and I didn't recognize them.
Grateful for all the many participants and so many people we don't know. Wonderful, yeah. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Audre Lorde, and all who have taught us about freedom. Thank you, Rhiannon. Well, we give thanks for all these things and so much more which we hold in our hearts this morning. Let us go forth as members of beloved community, practicing resistance each day. Now, we now extinguish our chalice, but we carry its light, its warmth, and its meaning with us until we meet again. May we go forth in love, practicing resistance as a community, sharing peace wherever we may wander. May it be so. Now, for our closing song, we form a circle, and you may hold hands if you would like, or you may simply place your hands on your heart.